the Canadian Rockies. It's a battle of the Maritimes this morning. Good morning and welcome back to coverage. Good afternoon for those watching in the Maritimes. Welcome back to coverage of the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. Darren McEwen alongside Gord Coppathorne, color commentary this morning. Gord, we are in a battle here between Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia in the seeding pool play of the Canadian Mixed Championship. Should be a good matchup this morning.
I'm looking forward to it.
These two teams come in with similar records this morning. We have, as we watch the lead here from Nova Scotia throw, that is Shelley McNutt. Nova Scotia comes in with a 2-4 record. They finish 5th in Pool B play. It is a new day, new opponents here for all these teams as we did the crossover as of last night. They finished up Pool play, and the top 4 teams from Pool A crossover to play the top 4 teams from Pool B, and Prince Edward Island finishing 5th, just missing the championship pool by 1 game. They will play here against Prince Edward Island, who finished with a 1-5 record. They finish 7th in Pool A, and as we watch lead Miranda Ellis with her first drop to this first end.
All the way.
It's your typical first end. They pick up a little bit of time, so they're going to just keep it clean.
Okay.
Been a lot of swing in the ice here this week, Gord. The ice makers have done a great job. We saw that one there with Miranda's. Maybe got caught early on the swing early on.
I'll compliment Canmore. Their ice has been fantastic this year, so it should be good to play.
Shelley McNutt with her second stone of this first end.
So keeping with the nature of a simple first end, they're just going to split the house to try to generate a deuce. At this point, the onus will be on the other team to just try to clean up and get the rocks as close together as possible to try to double it out or force a mistake.
As we see Jamie Newson sweep that one just out of the house. The rosters here for Prince Edward Island. Get our first look here at Andrew McDougall, who's the second. Already mentioned Miranda Ellis as lead. Third for Prince Edward Island is Melissa Morrow and the skip Jamie Newson. They are out of the Silver Fox Curling Club in Summerside, Prince Edward Island.
One of the exciting things about mixed doubles and such is you get to see all kinds of curlers that aren't typical television style. So it's always exciting to get new curlers around.
And this mixed championship is a good kind of hybrid of those. We still do see some of the household curling names here. We have Jamie Cooey, who's been to, of course, a lot of Tim Hortons Briars. We have Jean-Michel Menard. We have Marie-France LaRouche. A number of curlers that you'll have seen on television, but like you said, we watched Todd Burgess slide out here. A lot of curlers that maybe haven't seen on the national stage before, or it's been a few years for some of them.
It's also an opportunity for up-and-comers. You see a lot of younger curlers, such as the Alberta team, which are just out of junior age brackets or whatever, trying to make a name for themselves. Someone like Darren Moulding had great success in mixed many years ago.
Yeah, Darren actually having won the 2014 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. It is kind of a bit of a breakout event for some of them. Kevin Cooey won this event in the early 2000s himself for Alberta. And I think even Mark Dacey won it before he won his Briars. It's a really good chance to get national exposure and the national pressure, wearing your crest on your back, and get used to playing at this level.
Yeah, and compliments to the organizers, because they design these to look and feel like the Briar or the Scotties. So you can get a gauge, a sense of what you're up against when you try something bigger.
Okay, that's fine.
That one just gets over there. Andrew's
kind of like that.
Second stone now is a long guard for Prince Edward Island.
So now we've created a bit of an opportunity for the team with hammer to get into the house, but with a center guard, the chances are still there for a steal.
Nova Scotia does have hammer in this first end. Hammer is predetermined for each of the games.
Correct. They design it so that it's kind of spread amongst the teams.
It's going to go, though. It's going to go. Right here. Right here. Take a look. Take a look. Take a look.
Got to finish it, Bill?
No, we don't need to finish. No.
So he's keen on the fact that he doesn't want to deep. Left and right's less critical than don't be deep in this scenario.
Pretty nicely guarded. As we get our first look this morning of Melissa Morrow, she'll have to navigate getting by that long guard. with just hack weight, Jamie's called.
Yeah, it's with ice that curls this far. You can get a rock to move a fair distance, and you could probably push this one out the back of the house with the right weight.
Yep. Well, yes. Hurry. Hard. Whoa, Miranda. Hard, Miranda.
Jamie calling on Miranda Ellis to
we're stuck in the middle.
carve it in just a bit.
Good throw.
Great shot there.
So they've met their primary goal of getting the red one out of the house. Had room for a little more curl to hide more rock, but they made their primary goal. Again, with the guards so high, they could actually get a roll underneath if they really wished here. It's a bit daunting to get too cute first end. So, you stick to your primary objective on each of these shots, which is just keep the house clean.
Colleen Pinckney has a lot of experience both at the mixed level, seniors. She's been to 3 Scotties Tournament of Hearts representing Nova Scotia as well. An all-star at the senior championships, I believe twice. And of course won the event twice, including a world championship for Canada and a world silver medal.
I enjoy watching people who can contribute to the different brackets, seniors, ladies, mixed, and just love the sport enough to compete all the time.
And there's a few competitors here that are going on to play in the seniors coming up in a few weeks in Sault Ste. Marie. So busy season for some of these folks to do both.
No, there's too much weight. Okay.
Melissa with a nose hit on her second.
I do like 9.5.
So you might have heard the skip there state too much weight. On ice that curls this hard, weight is going to be the make or break on almost all of your shots. Even in a hit, it is going to make a difference of several inches, so you're going to get totally different outcomes. So you'll see that over and over again throughout the week.
Todd, close. Shelly a bit. Yep, Todd.
And to make it curl with Shelly's sweep.
Sorry.
Caught in the middle
I
there.
thought it was going to go a little more than that.
Directional sweeping has definitely found its place in sports, and you'll see a lot of banter. The big key is having a communication model that works for your team, so you're not stumbling over each other.
It's all right.
So there's still no complexity in this, and the guard is plenty long that the teams have their own choices of what they wish to do. So they're trying to flop under the guard to make it as hard as possible.
You see the time clocks there behind Jamie. Pretty simple end to start. Both teams get 30 minutes of thinking time. 2 timeouts, 90 seconds. Jamie Newson with his first rock of the first end.
Hard, Andrew.
So they're trying to create curl because he threw more weight than you expected, but it's moving.
No roll.
Isn't going to come out the other side.
Yeah, full rock out.
Okay.
Harder roll, though, for Burgess to make.
They're not going to mind that because the roll back under the center is fairly long now, so that's an acceptable outcome as long as you stayed in the rings.
Craig Burgess, the skip from Nova Scotia. They curl out of the Truro Curling Club. Of course, I already mentioned third Colleen Pinckney and second Todd Burgess.
I think a 9.5. Let's try
and lead
the roll.
Shelly McNutt.
So one of the things I picked up already is they even speak to their takeout weights in times. And it's just a nice way for everyone to focus on specifics.
Close.
So 9.5 would be what most people would call normal. So you're just trying to make sure it leaves and stay in play.
Just clean.
Okay.
Or nose.
So you might be wondering, these teams are not in the championship pool, including the teams that are on sheets beside them, Bravo and Charlie. But these games still matter, Gord. They matter, obviously, for a point of how you finish the event, how you go back and tell people how you did, but they also matter in a cumulative sense for how the seeding happens for the pools for these events going forward. And you look at some of these pools, I mean, this year alone, one of the pools has Jean-Michel Menard, Jamie Cooey, Trevor Bono, who won the event a couple years ago, Alex Forrest, and this Nova Scotia team in it. So that was a pretty difficult pool when you look at it on paper. So it does matter how you finish the event. You do play the other 2 teams that did not qualify for championships, so these teams will be playing them. As we watch Jamie try and get the hit and roll under.
Nice controllable weight, but again, just missed the sweep a little bit. Still in play, forces the other team to react. But you're absolutely right. There's a pride component, but they also
Probably a little more
make
than
the games have some value. So that the next 2 or 3 years, your seeding is a component of that, and further teams will appreciate your efforts.
Yeah, this Nova Scotia team was really just one win away from making the championship pool.
I don't want to push it right now.
And they picked up a win in their last game against the host Alberta. They won their opener against Nunavut, but dropped those losses to Northern Ontario, Northwest Territories, Manitoba, and Quebec. Craig Burgess's final stone of this first end, trying to roll out.
Yep. Nicely done.
And does it. Nice blank to start.
Nice simple end. Every team picked up a little bit of spare time, and on we go.
One thing I noticed.
As mentioned, we have 2 other games in action this morning. They are seeding pool games. We have on sheet B, Yukon with a 1-5 record taking on Alberta, the host, at 1-5 as well. A lot of rocks in play. We'll update you on the scores once we get them from that sheet. And same with sheet C. Nunavut is looking for their first win. They are 0-6 to start, and Newfoundland and Labrador are 2-4. Newfoundland last night, if you're watching, pulled off a bit of an upset against Saskatchewan to hand them a loss to finish off the championship pool. And there's no score so far in that one. So we'll start the second end with Miranda Ellis' first rock.
Airtight.
So she'll set the stage for the nature of the end. They want a center guard, so this time they're going to try to push the other team into ideally only scoring one. A steal is nice, but the goal is to force one so that you can take control of the game.
Get it in. Yeah, I want it in. It's a corner guard.
Oh, it's over curling, so they're going to ask for it in the house, so it's not a corner guard for the other team.
Okay.
The hardest shot this week has been, I think, the guards. With the amount of curl on this ice, it has been pretty challenging to put up the proper guard, especially if you're trying to guard a specific spot.
Oh, for sure. Canmore, again, has made really good ice, similar to arena. But some of the teams that are from clubs that have less curl are going to struggle with the idea of 6 feet for a guard.
We might see another one here, Gord, slip in.
I think you're going to be outside of the house, but it's moving sideways quite quickly, and it's going to be difficult to make too much use of it when it's covering only the outer 12-foot. So another attempt at the free guard zone. You got 2 shots at it, so we'll see if he gets a center guard this time.
Should mention how Prince Edward Island got here. They won their lone win of the week has been over Newfoundland and Labrador. It was earlier in the week. They dropped games to Saskatchewan, Ontario, Yukon, British Columbia, and New Brunswick. Some very strong teams here in that pool as well.
Oh, I know, it's very
So this one's over curling as well. I think she's just rolling over her turns a bit, but they're making a good plan B out of it and cutting off that side of the house and that corner guard.
And Prince Edward Island now sitting 2.
Yes, because we didn't touch it, Shelley, yeah.
It's deep enough you can put a corner guard on, or a corner freeze onto it. You're creating complex shots early, but it keeps the rocks in the house, which will theoretically make it easier towards the end to do as you need.
Room, it'll come. Corner freeze, freeze.
Hey.
Line's better. Careful, need to curl a bit. Yep, yes, hard, straight, hard, straight, hard.
So you saw right there, or heard right there, the nature of where sweeping is going.
We're one.
And you have to start using words like curl and straight to know which direction you want your directional sweeping to go. But you really have to do that as a team and practice it. Otherwise, it's hard to react without thought.
There's one of, I believe it's Northern Ontario.
How much do you have of this?
The team here this week have And their men's team, they have two Jordans in their front end. So there's no calling names for that. And I curl with another Darren as well, and we play front end. So we just make up nicknames for it. But I think you're right. Straight and curl might be the way to call if you are adopting the directional sweep.
That's what our team has started doing. It also saves you from, if you have a spare.
Thinking. Yeah.
You don't have to remember the spare's name so much, eh?
Yeah.
So blue has a bit of an advantage here. They are still shot rock because that corner freeze over curled. So now they have some control this end, and they're just going to passively try to generate a steal with force still an acceptable outcome.
Okay.
Could be a double there.
I don't mind there.
Okay.
I think 9-5, Todd.
So if you get a red rock over there, you're still not shot, but you're generating the potential for 2s or 3s. Thinking a couple shots ahead.
Todd Burgess, the brother of Craig.
A little down from that.
Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Calling his brother to
Colleen,
make the hit and roll here.
Hard. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
It won't sit for shot, but it will be third shot.
They did a good job of airing on the off-center line side. They could have aired for nosing, hitting it, and that's going to create, again, more potential for blue to clutter the middle. So a good job in getting the rocks out of the middle.
Andrew McDougall has previous mixed national experience. He's also been to a couple of Canadian Curling Club Championships as well.
The danger of this style of ice is once you're well into the 12-foot or even out of the 12-foot, you can quite often see the curl vanish. So there's a line somewhere he got outside of it.
So it's right up.
So now advantage is back to red because they have the opportunity to do whatever they wish, and they're going to just try to move that blue one back a bit, I think.
Yep, and that looks pretty close.
Close, yep.
You see enough of the red one to do basically a double tap. You move that blue rock 2 feet, and you're sitting 3. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Trying to get by that top
roll
red.
Off, Colleen, roll off, roll
Colleen
off, roll off.
Shelley will a little bit of a bounce off of it.
And that's a bit of an unfortunate outcome because now you've actually even guarded the potential to move the blue one.
Control.
Good chance here for Prince Edward Island to make up for that last one. Just hit at 2.
Oh, looks hot.
Melissa Morrow.
Andrew. Hard, Andrew. All the way. Come on. Gotta go for peace.
This one, though, is...
There's another example of where the wrong weight is detrimental. You know, you can usually get away with a little underthrow. It's very difficult to get away with overthrow. The sweepers can't do anything. You can't recover at all. So unfortunately, that was just simply a weight issue.
And another bad break, too, because it puts it behind the corner guard a little bit, or behind that rock in the front of the house. But that rock has legs right now.
And unfortunately, didn't even move it far enough to be second shot.
You want to throw like control?
I would suggest that red's a little too concerned about that blue rock. But at this case, you might chip that front red one in, which is also acceptable, getting stuff out of the way.
Shelly, roll it.
Clip the top one. Oh, that red is...
How many times did we tick that?
Yes. It is, it's a game of ping pong with that red rock in the back.
So where blue is identifying as a shot right now, I would have loved to have seen red have gone there last time. Because now blue will be chasing you, and you could have tried that through the port hit on your last one for, say, a 3 or a 4. You didn't give yourself a lot of outs. If you'd have thrown a nice draw where these guys are trying to, you would have really owned the end.
T-line.
Again, Nova
Mine's good.
Scotia throwing
T-line.
red, having hammer this end.
Andrews in if you're going. Andrews rock if you're going. T-line are a bit better. Andrews rock.
That red now is third shot.
Like to
Yep.
go a bit, Andrew.
Blue's
Yes,
looking
yes,
to sit
yes.
too.
God, there's got to be at least T. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Good separation between the Blues. There's no double, obviously, on those.
And even still, the hit and roll is going to be deep enough that you can still use it as backing. So Red's got to take the blue one out, but it's not going to. It's not going to put blue in a detrimental spot. They'll still have a draw to get out of the problem.
You can throw PL that if you want. Just be blue. Yeah, I know.
Colleen Pinkney,
Close.
beautiful mechanics sliding out of the house there. Or the hack, sorry.
Whoa. Whoa. Close.
Shelly!
Yep.
Shelly!
Whoa. Whoa, Todd. Whoa, 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 whoa.
A little bit of a roll, but it's still open for Prince Edward Island.
There's a double available, but it's not helpful as your blue is already second. So hiding under that blue in the house guard, if you want to call it such, is probably the primary outcome. Just roll a little bit to the, well, our left side under that blue one. Even just half buried would force them to go after it, but leave you a decent shot for two.
Well, just hack. Solid hack.
I heard Jamie say, just hack, solid hack for the weight on this.
That puts all the control in the line call and the sweep. If you get up in the realm of normal, you've taken so much potential control out of your sweepers.
Especially when you have quite a bit of area to, if you really need to roll or hang on to in the 8-foot, you're going to throw the bigger weight, you might lose the shooter.
Yep.
Absolutely, and in this case here, you have about 6 feet of house you can roll to, so give yourself a loss of opportunity.
This one's diving though. Miranda and Andrew trying to hold the line past the blue one.
Not quite.
Oh.
I don't know if that was an icing issue or a release, but unfortunately that was overcommitted to the roll when nosing or even rolling to the center would have been acceptable.
Mine curled because I...
Because the weight, I think, was
he
pretty
threw
good on that. It looked like it was at least hack.
What way do you throw?
I think I got to go throw 9-5.
You ultimately had to have your rock in the 8-foot area to dissuade red from having the opportunity to go after this lonely blue.
Yeah, with hammer here, Nova Scotia with a pretty good chance to score
out there,
a bunch if Jamie Newsom can't come up with something on his
sure
last.
It will curl. But
If he hits nose on this, you're going to have two potential doubles, but that's still going to leave them a shot for 3.
Craig Burgess, his first of the second end.
Yes, Todd, yep.
Looking to sit 4 after this.
You really got to go. Hard, hard, hard. Yee.
Brother Todd leaning on that.
I was a little shocked with their choice of turn because that's playing with the curl. Had they gone inside out, they would have had a slightly easier read. Maybe, if they had a good idea of the ice, it's fine, but it's just it's harder to play those shots with the curl.
But wow, what an end in terms of momentum just in this end. Chance now for Newsom to make a double back and sit 2.
They have definitely been trading pats on the back and niceties.
yeah.
And you know what? That's what kind of separates the really successful teams is understanding
Just normal,
how to leave yourself a nice outcome, even if you didn't perfectly execute. So ticking guards generally is a bad thing. So you always need to give yourself that room for mistake.
So the same target as last end here for Jamie, but upping the weight.
Again, it's key to throw the weight that matches your brew. You can do this with even control weight. The rocks are close enough, the houses are lively enough, so you have to throw the weight you're expecting.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Giving up on the double now, just trying to make the hit for 2 a little more difficult for Nova Scotia. But I think Prince Edward Island, I don't know, they'd be happy to give up 2 this end. It depends on what minute you ask.
Yes.
It depends on what minute of this end.
No.
But
and they did err the right way with that one.
Yeah.
Rolling in front of the red one at least complicates this final shot, whereas had they rolled to the other side, maybe jammed the back one and rolled to the center line, then it's actually quite an easy two.
Yeah, I think we've only seen one hit down this path with this turn in this end. So,
and again, he's playing with the curl, so he's got to be a bit careful about that.
Craig Burgess looking to get on the scoreboard for Nova Scotia. The second end, facing one, chance for two.
Shelly! Shelly! Shelly!
Picked up the curl. Here it goes.
Gotta avoid the back one. Don't want to just jam it and give up two. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Oh, a roll here. Wow. What a turn of events. It's a steal of two for Prince Edward Island.
Yeah, it was a good plan. Again, I would just personally would have taken the other turn so your sweepers can do a better job of holding line. And unfortunately, nosing it for one would have been an acceptable error side. Once again, Sheet B has a whole lot of rocks in play.
The Yukon right now open with a steal of one over Alberta. It's 1-0 there. And on sheet 3, it was another steal. This one for Nunavut over Newfoundland and Labrador. And it looks like Newfoundland and Labrador trying to set up for multiple points for their second end. But in our feature game, it is a 2-0 lead for Prince Edward Island after two ends.
Top four.
Miranda Ellis asked to deliver top four at her first.
And I would agree with that. They've done just fine by bringing their first one into the house.
Yep.
They're going to end up with a center guard here, but that is, again, an acceptable way to error on this. Center guard without hammer, no one's going to complain about that.
Shelley McNutt, she is a realtor, an administrator realtor at Coldwell Banker Open Door Realty in Truro. She's been in the real estate business for over 40 years. Quite active in not just curling. She's played a lot of sports, softball, volleyball, even at the national level, golfing, biking. I'm sure she's itching to maybe get out and see some of the places that you can explore here in Canmore, because we are in a sporting community here with all of those sports as an option.
And a lot of beautiful scenery. Mountains, rivers, animals, the whole 9 yards. So we've got two guards up already, so we're in line for a more interesting and complicated end. Not that the last one wasn't.
A little tight.
But they're intentionally trying for it.
Miranda Ellis is the general manager at the UPEI Student Union.
Really hard. Gotta go hard line, guys. Hard.
She's been to 6 Canadian national soccer championships. She's represented PEI at the club championships a couple of times.
Okay, that's fine.
And actually in Ottawa, I believe it was 2016, she won the championship.
That's just cross center.
So she did a good job of getting past the guard, which typically leads to a nice draw, but hers are curling more than the average player right now, so it came out the other side.
Gord, it's going to be tough for her. I know it's early, but Nova Scotia, that end was shaping up. And then when they were starting Skip Rocks, it was looking like they were going to score a multiple. How do you park that for this end now?
You have to have confidence in yourself.
Just keep it straight.
And know that you had a chance for 4 and made a mistake. If you ignore the fact that you made a mistake and leverage the potential you had, just roll with that and do it again. So even this is a really nice setup.
Yeah, great shot there by
shot or not
Shelley.
is not critical, but you have a well-guarded rock, and blue is going to have pressure throughout the end to have to worry about multiple points. So he's contemplating the wide in turn to try to move that red one. You're going to run the risk of getting into that straight area, but again, moving the guard is a nice outcome. It'll even push it potentially as a guard onto your own blue one. You actually see this a lot in mixed doubles, the backwards tick. We practice this shot a lot because you have so much room to push that guard to without ruining the free guard zone.
I want to make sure you get something, though, here. They're going to try and...
He's got a piece of it. It'll at least get the red one out.
Good shot,
Nice shot.
Andrew.
So Reds sticking to their game plan of trying to generate the 2 with their corner guard. That's why you throw the corner guard. It's one of the hardest things of having hammer is committing to using your corner guard.
You teach beginners curling and explaining what the corner guard is. You always make sure you tell them, like, if you're going to use it, because you see people put it up, use it.
Well, the whole premise is you throw the easy shot to make them throw the hard one. They're going to make it once in a while, but the theory is they will eventually miss the harder shot, and then you've taken some of the control away. So they're just going to keep throwing this in here, hoping that they, somewhere along the way, miss one of their hits, and then, not ideal, but that's still acceptable.
Not in.
Shelley and Colin tried to get that in, not quite.
Yeah, I thought that was done. I wanted to go. I can't tell. Okay.
So now they're just going to attack the 4-foot. And as long as they stay high of the tee line, they're going to have a lot of control over this end, and it's going to take Red at least a couple shots to take control back.
Andrew McDougall is the Executive Director, Community Health and Seniors Care at Health PEI.
Yeah. Hard early for line. Line's good, line's good.
Father of 3.
You switch.
No doubt they're watching if they're not in school.
All right, come on, go
Anderson,
forward, yeah.
Alexander, Emma,
All right, girls, come on.
Lachlan.
I got Miranda. Okay, good sweep, girls. That's fine.
That'd be nice, Todd. You got it.
So unfortunately, they were a little on the light side there, but that's not a bad spot. Red now has to chase after them to protect the 4-foot.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Todd
Hard!
works with the
Hard!
Forest Nova Scotia. He's a
Hip!
member-based forest sector advocacy organization.
Ooh, they almost got lucky with a little
Yeah.
chip on the red one. That's not a bad outcome.
He started
Center
that
guard's gone.
Yeah.
So either blue has to throw centers or start pushing the rocks into the 4-foot, which clusters the rocks and gives you different takeout opportunities. So there's still potential to get out of this. This is an intriguingly difficult way to go about this. They're just going to straight draw the back of the 4-foot. A tap also would have been an option.
Top button.
It's nice when you have ice that curls enough to even consider
then. Go.
drawing under
Yep.
a top 8 guard.
Okay, get to center if you can. Miranda's in, get it to center. As far as you can get it. First you can
Talks
get it. Get to
about
center.
Miranda
Get to center line. Come on, Andrew, get to center. Come on, yep, gotta go.
curling in the
Get to center, get to center.
Canadian Curling Club
Okay, that's fine.
Championships, winning that in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Well, they've replaced the center guard, a little bit off center, but still going to give them potential down the
Yep.
way. So Red's just going to clean out more rocks.
I'll correct myself. It was Melissa, sorry, who won the 2015 Curling Club Championships in Ottawa.
Yep. Yep.
It's back in Ottawa again this year. Is that not correct?
Yes, yeah, same club. It's coming up one of the events you'll be able to watch here on Curling Canada's YouTube. Oh, great.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That's moving a lot.
Got one of them. Rolled to a pretty good spot. A little challenging for Prince Edward Island to deal with it if they want to.
Tap. Tapping it. Huh?
He's got the good idea here. The angles
back
under
forward.
that red one aren't nice, so why not move the blue one a little bit
not
to
quite,
fix it
almost.
up? You do risk setting up a double takeout, but you have to get deeper underneath that red, or it's a pretty simple slash.
Where? Yeah, we're Miranda, we're not good here at all.
This is definitely running straight. Got it out into the outer edge of this sheet, which doesn't have a lot of curl, so they ended up, well, creating an interesting predicament.
Yeah, I thought I drew well. Just drilled really.
I think we go here.
Yeah, I like that.
So this is an intricate shot that's going to be all weight dependent.
9-5.
So he's electing to throw what most people call normal, to just simply try to get the blue one out and not worry about the shooter. But you could do this in such a way that you keep your shooter in the edge of the house. This is something more in the 11 and a half weight range. Harder to call.
Get ready.
Yep.
Straight.
Yep. Whoa.
Pauline Pinckney is retired from the Correctional Service of Canada. And a good get out of jail chance there for Nova Scotia.
Certainly well executed, but again, you would have loved to have seen your shooter stay in play to set up the easier two.
I guess you're going too far there. Even we're back here, just got shot buried.
So once again, they're going to go for the back of the 4 foot. They're accepting the idea of being a little bit deep.
I guess I have a lot more room.
Driving towards a force as much as a steal. There's not a lot of room to be top 4 foot and not be visible.
Give me edge.
I think at this point you would be perfectly happy with yours back 4 foot, them frozen on top, and then you freeze to them and force one and move on. That's a good outcome.
Let's go. Top button. Yeah.
So this is roughly the same area they
15, 20.
tried their last draw, and it didn't pick up the curl. Their broom is roughly the same spot, so it'll be interesting to see if you can get it inside that line and get it to break.
I'll do the same as draw the button.
Jamie Newson, his first rock of this third end. Sweeper's calling back 8 out of his hand.
It's out further.
It's following a fairly similar path to the third's throw. Not curling particularly hard yet. There it goes.
13 seconds was the hog-to-hog I got on that, so that should be pretty deep in the house.
In Canmore, that will quite often sneak out the back.
Is it shot?
Yep. Okay. Right in, top 4?
Yeah, red should ignore that blue no matter what. Whether it's shot or not, right now you're basically trying to generate a skip's deuce. Get your rocks into the 4 foot.
So. That hung for a long time. You want a little more?
I do.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
I like it.
They had a good conversation there. So it hung to the point where it almost clipped that high guard, and yet it's crossed center line. So that's a very difficult shot to call, because you got to understand you're going to get about 4 feet of break from the hog line in. So you're going to be missing your guards by probably a foot to properly bury.
Craig Burgess is the recreation manager for the municipality of the County of Colchester. Great track athlete as well. Ran the 100, 200, 400 in high school and ran in 4 national championships, including the Summer Canada Games in 1985 in St. John. As we watch his brother and Shelley McNutt also drag that in.
Wow. Unfortunate that he was fairly light on that. When you have hammer, throwing that one short creates you more grief than had you been to the back one. The back one makes you shot rock with backing, puts pressure on blue. This has now actually created staggered guards for blue to hide behind.
Another 2 feet.
So all he has to do is take about 4 feet off his last one, and red's going to be under a lot of pressure on the last shot.
Jamie and his partner, Miranda, I'm not going to call her Melissa anymore, Miranda, are owner-operators of the Ships Company Pub and Galley in Cavendish, Prince Edward Island.
Hard, guys!
He's got the curl. Where's his weight at? Seems pretty close.
Miranda and Andrew trying to drag that by the front, too.
Well, there's the difference of the weight. He went from back house to top house, and the final position would have been about the same, just over the center line.
I think so.
But that depth is all the difference, and that's why weight is absolutely essential to these
Much on this
shots.
side.
And now it will force Nova Scotia to take the other turn here.
Two and a
So
bump
path
for
we
three.
maybe haven't seen for this, but it is a bump.
So he said draw for 2, bump for 3.
Those are hard though, Gord, when you get in the hack and trying to think like, am I drawing? Am I bumping? I mean, you just don't want to be light when you have a chance for 2 or 3.
So he's actually drawing to the back blue one, and if he bumps it 3 or 4 inches. So that's when you picture yourself drawing back 8. And if the line is good, the sweepers will generate the bump. You can't sell yourself on the bump, because then if you're a little bit heavy, you're going to clip off the side of it and not do yourself any justice.
Big chance here for Craig Burgess to get on the board. Score 2, maybe 3 with a bump here for Nova Scotia.
So they're calling for line to get past the front red one. The weight's a little lighter than they wanted.
Hard! Hard, roll off!
Really got to go.
Hard, roll off! Roll off!
Bounce far enough off.
It's going to be close.
And it looks like it will be 2 for Nova Scotia. They'll
I
put on
believe
the board.
so.
Yes. So it is a 2-2 tie after 3 ends of play. A little bit of confidence boost for Craig Burgess there.
Much more weight than that.
It's nice to pull a 2 after you gave up an unfortunate 2. Get a little momentum on your side.
In a spot, I don't think we really knew that well with that turn out there.
Alberta and Yukon have decided to have a few less rocks in play this end.
It's a 1-1 tie between those two teams, and Nunavut leads Newfoundland and Labrador 2-0 after 2 ends of play.
Pair of back-to-back steals by the looks of it. So now we get to see how Nova Scotia likes to set up their ends. I would assume a center guard. It's the typical way to start. We've seen a lot of crashes on guards, and we have 2 East Coast teams here, so I wonder if the sheer volume of curl is causing them a little bit more grief than they're used to, because having played out east myself, it typically has less curl than Western Canada, Alberta.
Yeah, I think so. That's the 40.
So they went for the center guard, a little on the high side, but still a center guard. Unfortunately, it's high enough that any rock in the house will be accessible, but at least more difficult.
You rob and rattle it for 2
We're back to your
corners,
point
it's
about
fine.
that
I think it's in the
with
way
the
in
ice.
throw corner.
We had a chance to converse with Colleen Pinckney before the event and asking about players that influenced her and people that influenced her. And she said because she never got to play on a lot of national ice, being from the East, she attributes a lot of her success as a skip to just watching so much on television and listening to everything that Russ Howard has to say about that. And he talks a lot about that on TSN, about understanding the type of ice, the rocks you're playing with, and the reaction they get. And the ice that they played with in both Canadian championships that she won at the seniors was, she said, so amazing, and she'd never skipped on ice like that before, but it felt like she had, because she'd been watching Russ and listening to him for all those years talk about the swing and people from the East Coast, and she really attributes Russ Howard to teaching her about how to call a pretty good game on national ice. And I say it worked out pretty well, because Colleen is a 2-time national seniors champion herself from the East Coast.
I would agree. Russ has been an excellent advocate for the sport through training and vocalization on TV.
Line's
But
better.
you still need to be able to sit down and commit yourself to what you are going to see and learn quickly. Oh, that's picked.
Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just
Not
rub,
a bad outcome.
rub
You're
and-
still going to
rub
end
and
up
tick.
with just a little bit of. You still end up with a quasi center guard out of it. You'll be able to make. Oh, never mind. It's in the house now. Keep going. At least it's forcing blue to react now.
But I mean, that rock got by
all
the
control.
long center guard by quite a bit and is way over there.
Well, I picked somewhere around 2/3 down the sheet. You could see them cleaning the ice behind themselves. It's never a bad thing when a picked rock still ends up being useful.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, we're flirting with the free guard zone rule here.
That will go back.
Almost fighting center.
Is that what it was?
Is there a...
Yeah, right there.
They're talking about finding the ring in the ice where it left a little bit of a mark where it rested.
The settling ring where you can just see a slight imprint in the pebble.
Always good to have those logos in the ice. You can use those as reference as well. They're thanks to a lot of our local sponsors here. Tourism Canmore Kananaskis, Mary's Popcorn, Visions Electronics, Canmore Golf and Curling Club, Rome Transit, Canmore Brewery and Distillery, Canmore Raft Tours.
Still on the blue. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
I'm going to hopefully work on the pronunciation of that one. El Quilnino Tequila, Golf Design Services Limited, and Moosehead Breweries.
Special thanks to all the sponsors of this event. Without you guys, we would be in a hard place.
Normal,
especially in the environment we're in with the community like Canmore, relying so much on hospitality and visitors. It's great to have all these visitors here again in the Rockies. You'll see some fans that have come from across Canada to cheer on their family and friends.
Yep.
So we're getting a bit of a collection at the front of the house here. So Blue is just simply elected to clean up a bit so that they aren't going to be
all the way to it.
in a bad position. Once again, the curl is a bit of their nemesis.
Okay.
The outside in, you can see them all taking about a foot of ice. And they're not giving themselves room for error. That's basically minimum ice. So now we're going to go attack the 4-foot if we're Team Red and see if we can't generate a steal. It's out there, but it'll pick up the curl if the weight's correct. There it goes. That's an excellent shot. So you can see the amount of curl at play there. They missed both of those guards by at least a clear foot, and it's perfectly buried. That's a big trick for people who've learned to curl and judge your line by just missing guards. Straight ice, that's what you teach yourself. Just miss the guard and you get the best outcome you can. Well, in this predicament, you have to teach yourself to miss by a lot.
You could miss the guard by an inch here and end up in the foam almost.
Oh, jeez. That's right.
Not quite.
Sweet.
Now, unfortunately, they were close enough to the run back. They didn't make it and then ended up still leaving a guard. That is the major detriment to run backs. And unfortunately, they tend to be either a 4 out of 4 or a 0. And now the opposing team can do whatever they want to. That is the huge risk of run backs, is you give them full control of what they wish to do.
Nova Scotia having a great history in this event. They've won 7 times as a province, just behind Manitoba's 9 titles. Of course, some big names from Nova Scotia on the trophy from this. None other than Colleen Jones, Mark Dacey,
Handle's dying. Whoa.
Lainey Peters.
Whoa.
Talking about the handle dying on this one, it came right off it, slides right over to the center line.
And the risk with no turn is that it's going to basically start walking sideways. You don't know what it's going to choose to do. It's a bit like judging the wind. So just leave it and let it stop wherever it will.
Well, I don't know. No.
It seems to be a decent guard. They can probably get to the red one with,
It turned out.
maybe a hack weight kind of a thing. You may not get it out, but at least you're going to take control of the 4-foot again.
I don't throw spinners anyway, but it was probably normal.
Now, we've seen a few overthrows out of this lady throwing third, so hopefully she can get her weight in target. Seems pretty good at this moment.
Hard, Andrew, go! You got it, come on!
Andrew McDougall leaning on the brush.
Miranda, go! Go! On the red, Andrew, on the red. Roll it. Yep.
Great execution there by
Good.
Melissa
Nice
Moreau
shot.
to get the rock that was pretty much buried behind that long guard.
Excellent weight control, threw clean at the broom, sweepers held it for her, and they got a great outcome.
Yeah, great roll to the behind the corner guard
Hit and roll. You want to go in?
with hammer.
And you couldn't freeze to it if you wanted to because it curls too hard. Those guards are all in the way for that. So they've elected to simply go after the forefoot and accept that blue one is going to stay there.
Felt really good. Line's good. You might need to finish it, Todd.
So now as long as you're half buried,
Where is it?
preferably 3/4, you're at least going to have the benefit of anything blue does is going to collect their rocks together and maybe give you a potential double or some sort of a that.
That's just warping, and that one also doesn't have a lot. It actually took the other rotation just slightly at the very end.
Swingy ice and light rotation is sometimes a dangerous combination. But again, if you're
It can be dangerous for the other team too.
Well, fair enough. You could get a whole bunch of curl out.
She just warped that one right around. Yeah.
I've lost to plenty of people that have that ability.
Yeah.
No, it's way out. Yeah, Andrew.
So
Yeah,
here's a nice example of how no matter what happens, the blues will cluster together. But I don't think they're going to get enough of it. Oh,
Right on top.
Yeah, and you're going to have way more rotation than I do.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a little less ice.
so that was, I would say, heavier than her first one. Not a lot, but possibly enough to have made that 6 inches of curl difference.
Right on top.
So now anything
Still pretty quick, eh?
top 8 to hog line is basically an acceptable outcome here. You'd like to be in the house so that you're got more reds and keep this other blue one from potentially getting into a counting position, but the objective is to protect that red one.
Craig Burgess' first stone of this fourth end, tied at 2 without hammer. Sorry, with hammer. No, without
Line's
hammer.
great.
They're playing it like they have hammer and doing good.
Mixing up the jersey color with the rock color.
Right to it. Right to it. Yes.
Hard.
Looking very nice.
You're going to get it.
Really dragging this to the forefoot,
Go, little more.
and they will get second shot. Yeah, I'll say the second shot. What do you think, Gord?
Even just kick this one
Yeah,
out,
I'd call
right?
red sitting 2.
Ideally, make the double, but I think you hit it.
So now,
You got to get about half of
do you
about a third
get
of this
into
one
the
probably,
realm
eh?
of high risk
Yeah, right on the
shots?
G.
You can get a double out of, say, a run back coming in this way. You could create a double in this nature. The danger is if you simply take the red one out and don't move any reds, then they are going to just simply throw up a guard, and then you have large troubles.
Yeah.
So they're taking the higher risk shot, but the reward is notable. Personally, I would leave this to the last shot because it's not going to go anywhere, and I would probably try to set something up on the left side so you have 2 options.
So like a corner freeze, maybe.
There's
or
a couple different things you could do. You could even peel off the guards. You know, if you take off the center guard, then you have a straight hit or the run back on your last one. If he misses this and they plug it, you're not going to have much to choose from.
Jamie Newsom trying the run back double. Wow,
Exactly
what a
as called.
shot.
Excellent delivery.
Telestration magic there. Great shot by Jamie Newsom.
So now they have to try to bail out backwards and simply hit and roll underneath and try to force a
threw
draw
right here and it
on
curled.
Newsom's last.
Certainly makes things a lot easier for
9-5. If I hit
Prince
half,
Edward
I'm
Island.
rolling over there.
Yep, you got it. Great shot. TV shot.
It was a TV shot.
It's always nice to see sportsmanship and compliments, even if you're
9-5.
opponents.
Yeah.
Hit and roll on top of the other one.
So as you can see there, he's looking for any kind of motion towards the center of the sheet. Ideally under the guards, but if it's rolling flat, you could corner freeze the other blue one and you still could force one. So we see another case where they're hitting with, calling the hit with the curl. But he's thrown more weight to try to accommodate that.
Hard! Really gotta go! Hard for nose, hard for nose. Okay.
They will get nose, but not shot. So giving him a chance here for Newsom to draw to the 8-foot for his 2 points.
Control.
Or play the hit.
I was just going to say, this is now comfort zone.
Yeah.
You'll hear people say all the time, if you can't throw the draw, you shouldn't be skipping. But let's be honest, it's a comfort shot.
Yeah, he just made a great hit in that same spot, right? You saw the path, pretty similar here.
Control.
He's thrown significantly more hits than draws, so I certainly wouldn't judge him on this choice.
Yeah, he's got a lot of room to roll to, right? All across the house. So.
Yeah, he could even use his own blue as a catcher. You lose a lot of weight in that case. So yes, the safe way is to make sure you're nose or inside of nose so that it curls through the house.
After a beautiful run back double by Jamie Newsom, he'll try the hit for 2 and take a 4-2 lead, but they've got to get to this Red Rock first with the sweep.
So once again, the curl has caught them based on significantly less weight than the last one. That's unfortunate. That was a great opportunity for 2.
So just a single for Nova Scotia. So they'll take a 3-2 lead as we head to the break. We'll take a break here in Canmore from the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship.
One might say I was born to overcome challenges. 2 months premature, in and out of the hospital, and a heart condition. My parents call me their miracle baby. As with all survivors, I searched for my place in this world, and I found it here. This pebbled ice is where I battle now, and at only 12, I am already a 5-year veteran of this sport. I have my sights set on the Olympics. I will push hard to get there. The only size that matters in this sport is the size of your dreams.
Sweep! Sweep! Hurry! Hurry! Hard! Hurry hard! Hard! Hurry hard! 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 Yeah! Woo! We should really be curling.
This ice is everything. It's where I come to feel close to her, to feel whole. This building helped raise me when my mother no longer could. When I step on the ice, she steps with me. My dad is my rock. We are a team now, like the 4 of us when we step on the ice. People say that this isn't a contact sport, But that's not true. It contacts you where you need it the most.
The game with the ice, and the rocks, and the sweeping, and the yelling. Each game starts with a handshake. Then, 2 teams of 4 people take turns throwing 44-pound stones down a sheet of ice. Each team throws 8 rocks, and the team closest to the center after all the rocks are thrown will score the points. This process is repeated for 6 to 10 rounds until one team is victorious. It's just that simple. Or is it?
That has to be the most Canadian thing I've ever seen.
Well, maybe if he was also eating a poutine.
And drinking maple syrup.
And he's also a curler.
Guys, you know I've never actually been curling before.
And you call yourself a Canadian?
I'm sorry.
There's more than 1,000 curling facilities in Canada. Be a good Canadian and find one near you today.
One might say I was born to overcome challenges. 2 months premature, in and out of the hospital, and a heart condition. My parents call me their
Welcome back to the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championships here in Canmore, Alberta. This morning we are pausing here for the hour of remembrance at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club. Thank you to the players, the officials, and everyone here. We'll be pausing for a couple of moments, all of our games, for a moment of silence to remember those who sacrificed so much for us to have the freedom to play the game, to enjoy the game, and to live in this great country. Welcome back to the second half of our feature game. A big thanks to the players, the ice makers, organizers, officials that made that possible for the players to pause and reflect here on Remembrance Day in Canmore. Gord, it's been a seesaw battle a lot of these ends. This whole game has been back and forth between Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. And if you were coaching these two teams, what would you tell them at the break?
It's been a bit of missed opportunities. So the biggest advice I would say is if you're playing outside in, err on the side of lots of ice. Very few misses are because of over-icing. So I would say be very mindful of the right weight and use the curl, but don't get cute with the ice. Let them make the mistakes, because right now every team's making one or two, and that could tip the game.
Some great shots have been made. We saw Jamie Newson with a shot of the game so far in his first and that fourth, and the run back double to sit two.
Fantastic shot, which really, really shaped the outcome of that end. So now we'll see how they decide to execute again. They've thus far thrown all of their first ones tighter in.
Talked a little bit about mixed doubles. Miranda, as we see Miranda Ellis slide out here, Miranda and Jamie are partners on and off the ice, not just in this discipline, but also they play mixed doubles together as well in Prince Edward Island.
Yep.
Mixed doubles as partners is an accomplishment. I have done that in the past.
Oh, yeah?
And we discovered that I am better off being the coach of the team with my wife featured on it. We played mixed together very well. Mixed doubles is certainly a complicated scenario as a couple.
It is very traditional, if you think at the club play for 4-team mix to have partners on them. And there's quite a few teams here that have that dynamic. There's always kind of more of a buffer, right?
Oh, absolutely. And
players.
The biggest difference of 4-man versus 2-man is there's never really a break in 2-man mixed doubles. So you have to be on task and clean with communication and expectations and just click, 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 click. That's how you win that game.
Top four.
So that one there, they tried to take control of the end by drawing top four, slid to the back. It's nice not to have piled up a center guard, but that's not a very useful rock back there, unfortunately. Backing, if anything.
Mine's good. Where? Melissa's rock. It's got a curl a bit.
We've actually seen Red implement two different ways of executing with hammer. They played a corner guard in the third end and scored two, and in this case here, they actually tried to go around the center guard.
No, it's going to finish. Don't worry about that.
So you can see a common scenario is when you get to the ice, get back on the ice after the break, it typically ends up going a little deeper than you're expecting. There's always a few more feet of carry right after a break.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're playing even some provincials, but club play, you don't have that break.
Yeah.
You don't have the mop between, which can speed it up a little bit, but it takes a little bit to get used to. Players were, because this was a bit of a unique situation with our moment of silence, they were given the opportunity to do a practice slide if they wanted to. But a little bit to adjust to. Well, we have a second, just updating the scores on the other sheets and the other seeding pool games right now. Yukon has stayed out ahead of Alberta at the 4-2 lead. Yukon having hammer about to start the fifth end. And after a great start by Nunavut, stealing a single point in the first and second end, they now trail Newfoundland and Labrador 6-2 after the fourth end break.
You asked what my advice to the team would have been between ends, and there was an example of it. They're still erring on the tight icing side, and it's just over curling time and time again.
Top four. Where? Off the
Team
line.
Blue
Miranda's
gets this
rock.
into the top 4 foot. They're going to have a very commanding control of this
Full
end.
four. Line's good. Still Miranda's.
Well, they were out pretty far with their ice, trying to
I just don't want to be right
take
here.
advantage of the curl.
Make sure we're behind this rock, though.
But it's dangerous to get outside of the house.
Oh, it's not behind. We're shooting, Miranda.
Just heavy again. Pretty darn.
Okay. It's not.
Pretty close. Pretty close. 3 feet heavy. Otherwise, it was excellent.
Andrew might be from one of the flattest provinces in the country, but he one of his accomplishments is climbing Ben Nevis in the UK while he was in Scotland. So I'm not sure if he will be putting on the trekking boots to try any of the peaks here in the Rockies, but a pretty good accomplishment for someone from Prince Edward Island.
Hopefully these teams give themselves a little bit of time to enjoy the area while they're here.
I know the next game for Prince Edward Island is not until tomorrow at 2 p.m. Mountain. Great shot there.
Excellent cleanup of the forefoot. And they kept shot rock out of it, so Blue has to react to it. So any kind of a hit's still going to be deep, so that gives them opportunities.
Whoa. Whoa.
Seems like he's a little over the weight that he was after, but it's going to take the curl, so that's acceptable.
Hard, Lazard! Sorry, I should have been on it right away. Just tell yourself it's not going to curl that much. That's fine, though. It's tough to get that.
You see exactly that there. It's hard to convince yourself of the curl when you're not used to it. Good recognition on their behalf. So now Red can take control back. I would personally not worry about that blue one at the back of the house yet.
I don't mind this.
I agree. Take control of the top of the forefoot, and then you're really going to put the gears to blue.
Todd Burgess has a lot of accomplishments in his corner, but also comes from a very big curling family. Obviously his brother Craig here, but his daughter Lindsay won the 2018 World Juniors Ladies Curling Championship with her cousin Carly Burgess.
Looks heavy.
The dedication of those two girls and Craig's commitment to coaching juniors has kept him quite busy.
Well, we're going to freeze on this
and his son Chris is a dedicated high-level lacrosse coach in New Brunswick.
I wouldn't have called the freeze on that.
He lets us know that his wife does not curl because he says his family needs some balance. It's a busy winter, no doubt for them.
I applaud the commitment to both playing and coaching and cross sports.
And a good shot there to use the backing.
Still sitting below the tee line, which takes a lot of the pressure off of blue. If that was 3 feet higher, it'd have been mostly buried, and they would have to move it. This one here is now backing to there.
Where?
Talked about Russ Howard earlier with Nova Scotia. Well, we asked
Andrew, if anybody.
Melissa one of her inspirations, and she also credits Russ Howard, as does Andrew McDougall, for someone from the East Coast, representing the East Coast and putting curling on the map for that region. A little bit deep there, and didn't find the curl.
So nothing much has changed. Everything's still behind the tee line. It's anybody's game at this point. First one at the top of the forefoot's going to be in a good spot.
Line's good. Line's good.
You can actually afford to be
full tour if you can
for this one, just because the fact that there's double backing, basically.
Line.
So.
Heard.
Red can really make blue squirm by getting it anywhere into the forefoot, even biting the tee line.
Okay.
And that's what they did.
So they got a piece of it sticking out, but that blue one is still dangerous backing.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, they've changed their mind, which is probably a good thing. Trying to move that red one is a very precise shot, and you're probably not gonna end up with shot rock out of it. So I'm okay with this. You do run the risk of leaving the slash, even if you do bury this on the button. But again, I'm a fan of you throw the easy shot to make them throw the hard shot, and that's kind of what they're going with here.
Go, Duke.
Unfortunately, Morrow's got it out a little bit, and she had problems with this in the third end, where it just hung really long out there. She's got good weight, though.
Okay.
So if that had picked up the curl earlier, it wouldn't have gone quite as far, and she probably would have been edge of the button.
It is second shot, but it's definitely a pretty big
do
help
this,
if
you're
Nova
behind.
Scotia can capitalize on it.
So Red is contemplating trying a double off of this pair of blues to then sit somewhere
You
over
throw
here.
peel, you might get
The
that.
danger is,
That's
again,
onto
you're still
there.
below the
Sit
tee
here.
line. So no matter what you do, you're making backing for the blue team. Had you contemplated just throwing a rock up in this area here, or even a little bit higher up here, blue is going to be really hard pressed to score.
Yeah, you're really choking off that scoring zone there.
Yep. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
It's reassuring to get rid of the opponent's rocks, but I don't think it's all that advantageous at the moment. So now you've made a mixed doubles button catcher.
Yeah, do you think?
So if blue puts a rock nicely
Great weight.
on or just a little bit short of
you were
that one,
back 8 on your own,
Red's
right?
now going to be forced to play
Where'd
a
you think
really
you threw it?
awkward slash to try to get it
Give me a
out.
hair less than that, but not much.
Jamie Newsom, as we said, knows mixed doubles, so he's got the pretty much almost the center guard up there already as well. So ignore all the other granite, but the tricky one, of course, is going to be that one, the other red one that's in the top 4 foot. You don't want to crash on that, and you certainly don't want to get it out too wide and sail it by this.
Yes, clipping off that back red one would be definitely the wrong way to miss on this. 2-3 feet short, you have a bump, you have all kinds of things you can do. We call it the kiss of death when you clip and roll off the side of it, because nothing good comes out of that.
Jamie Newsom, his first of these fifth end.
Oh, come on.
Doesn't like it out of his hand.
Well, he's out in that territory where it takes a long time to pick up a break. It also looks a little on the warm side to me at the moment.
Starting to curl now. Is it
Miranda, yes!
diving towards the center line now? Did they wait too long? Oh, they got away with it. Great result. Clips the top one, but
you like that?
Yeah, it's acceptable. It's acceptable. It's forcing Red to go after them with either a tough slash or a draw bump.
Control.
So they're gonna play the slash on this, which you know what is gonna make them look really good if they make it.
if they didn't hit that red there, Gord, do you think they would have been probably more glued on to the shot rock? Or
It would have been almost ideal. It would have been about nose frozen because the way it was losing its weight and curling. And Red would have basically only had the choice of corner freezing back to force one.
But as that rock came in on the screen right now, like almost where we have the graphics there with the score on the rocks, that's where that rock was. It was so far out to the left, and it just warped right in. It's testament to the curl.
The fan side of this sheet is definitely taking a longer time to pick up the curl, but it moves when it chooses to. So we'll see if they've accommodated the fact that the hits are still curling. They're sweeping it early. It's going to be close. That outside in hit has been their nemesis the whole game.
I don't see anything. What else is there?
Still a lot of pressure here for Prince Edward Island to
just blast that for 1-2.
To make sure that they don't give up multiple points here.
Anything else?
So if you're blue, the freeze is attractive, but you have to
pretty much
be very careful.
This is the shot, right? Same ice?
Anywhere, like if you're on the outside of it,
2 feet
you're
left.
going to have a problem because both of the red blues are going to spin outward out of the 4 foot. If you're on the inside, that's also trouble because you create almost a double scenario. So you really don't have much other than dead nose frozen, so that when they hit you, it doesn't go anywhere.
Jamie came down and said to Andrew and Miranda here, we would have almost been better if Craig had made the shot. Which may have been the case.
And unfortunately, there's no clearly obvious hits in this collection because those reds aren't going anywhere.
Give you like 2 or 3 feet less.
So basically, he has to throw the exact same shot with just a little bit more ice and try to get nose frozen on his own.
I think, it's not great. Yeah. Just get it on top.
So we think back to that run-back double he made. There was a lot of pressure there. There's certainly a lot of pressure here for Prince Edward Island on their final stone of the 5th end to put this in the right position to prevent a big score from Nova Scotia.
The unenviable position of throw the same shot twice. they're sweeping for line
guys,
at this point. Wait is close, but they're just trying to hold the line.
Yep.
Now they're going for plan B.
Crap.
Oh. There for forecourt, or
I assume they're going to play the nose hit.
I got to throw Peel though,
for 3. He's identified that you need weight to keep it straight because that blue one made it a little awkward. The slash has been taken away, so they can't throw the same thing twice. But yes, a nose hit will remove the red and the blue, and you'll get 3 out of it.
Just, I think, normal, Normal up a bit.
So
Just
he's calling for normal or more. And you should eliminate most of the curl once you're normal or more. And it's now about comfort of execution.
Craig Burgess with a chance here for 3 in the 5th end.
Little in out.
Whoa!
Looking close.
Hard, Shelly. Yep, Todd!
There it goes.
Todd!
Excellent shot.
No mistake about it. The team from Truro gets their 3. As we watch the replay here, just gets by the guard. You heard Craig calling for the curl for a bit, but came up very nicely.
The rocks are close enough together that it had a pretty decent amount of the rock he could hit.
Leg is
Too thin was almost hard. He just had to make sure he was past the front blue one, and he was most likely getting his 3.
So a 5-3 lead now for Nova Scotia as we begin the 6th end.
Right in.
Still anybody's game. As we've seen, the opportunities to score have swung quite quickly each end.
Mentioned the next game for Prince Edward Island is tomorrow at 2 p.m. They'll play Alberta, who's also in the seeding pool. And the next game here for this team from the Truro Curling Club in Nova Scotia is going to be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain. That's against Newfoundland. But we'll be back here this afternoon for a championship pool game, and it's a big one. It's Northwest Territories' Jamie Cooey, who's 5-1. He'll take on Saskatchewan. They're 4-2. And that's 2 p.m. Mountain Time for that championship pool game.
So it looks like Red had elected to go into the house, removing guards and potential. But they've kind of just awkwardly half-bit the house. So it doesn't put too much pressure on. They're going to throw up the corner guard and see what they can do.
Just halfway. Got it.
Right on the brewery and distillery logo. Maybe that'll be lunch today.
A little bit, Andrew. Well. Yeah, go a bit. Yep, go a bit. Yep. Get off the center line. Get off center. Good shot.
They would have liked that to have been a hair farther over.
Could go in there.
The corner guard, generally you want at least to be 8 foot into the edge of the 12 foot for gut cover area. So Red's either going to tap or just straight draw behind this one.
Line's good. Line's good. Yep. Line's good. Line's real good. Close, Colleen. Close.
Yeah, they're playing the
like
tap.
To tap it. Todd.
The nice thing of the tap is then your shooter ends up being a proper guard.
Yeah, especially with the 5-rock rule.
So now they have the point rock and the center-ish guard.
It's top 8.
So with blue not getting their rock quite far out enough, it's in that awkward no man's land of half center guard, half corner guard. But they have enough room to get by and get a freeze in there and generate some potential.
Top 8. Well, no, we're on red. Well, Andrew, if you're sweeping. Well, it's on the red. Just let it sit.
This is going to push the red one into the house, which you could argue is not a bad thing because you can play with it, but you've cluttered up the center line against yourself, which is the bigger detriment in that moment.
Or this. But
Miranda's
gonna give them easier pockets
for just
to run.
10 years, and in that 10 years, she's captured 3 provincial mixed titles and 1 club championship title in Prince Edward Island. So a short career for compared to a lot of people here, but a pretty successful one representing Prince Edward Island.
Sounds like a good dedication
Gotta
to
be
the
tight,
sport.
though, I
and
think, right
putting
there.
lots of effort into it, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we mentioned the mixed doubles as well, so having a good curling career.
So Red had looked at a couple of different ideas, throwing another guard or just pushing their
We
red
might
one.
be playing the angle tap now. Yep.
I would be disinclined to throw too many more centers up, because at some point it may actually start working against you.
Yep.
You're up two, don't make it easier for blue.
Okay.
Chap off the guard.
The latest term in curling, chapping.
Those.
I feel like it's making a comeback.
This is fair. This is fair.
Marble.
There's some terms I'm not as much of a fan of. The I don't hate it one. I don't like that term. I'm like, I'm not a sports psychologist, but I like to go with the positive thinking. And I don't hate it is not.
It's not reassuring.
Yeah, it's not reassuring. I like it or I don't.
Whoa!
Andrew McDougall with his
Miranda.
first.
Oh,
So now he's unfortunately being forced into cleanup mode.
Okay, that's not bad.
Which isn't a great position when you're trying to score a 2 and you're cleaning rocks up. But at the same time, you can't hobble yourself.
Cleaned up the one side of the sheet, that's for sure.
And that's kind of his goal there, is to make sure he had some part of the house to work with, because the brewery side of the sheet, let's call it that, is getting a bit cluttery. There you go. We'll call it the Mary's popcorn side and the brewery side.
Line's real good. Yep.
So now, if they get this one into the top 4 foot, you're going to see a whole lot of blue rocks expended on cleaning up.
Shelley and Colleen leaning on those brooms.
Well, decision point for blue. Keep cleaning up or try to get yours into the 4 foot first. You can choose either. If you get yours in first, then red will start chasing you, and opportunity can come out of that as well. This hit and roll is going to be really hard to get shot rock out of, and then red is most likely just going to go into the 4 foot again.
Yep. Yes! Yes! Hard! Hurry! Whoa, Melissa. Try to.
Must be close.
Stuck in the middle. Oh. Okay. We're still good. Nice shot.
So it's a decent outcome, but you aren't shot rock, which minimizes the pressure you've put on red. They have their center guards. They have shot rock. It's really actually what they're after. So now they throw more rocks into the 4 foot, and you're kind of in that plus or minus 1 range. And to be totally honest, red will be happy giving up 1.
These are 8 end games here at the mixed championship. Scoreboard management even that much more important in an 8 end game compared to a 10.
There's a lot of attention put towards the outcome of the 6th end because it sets up 7 and 8. But I always warn people not to get too wrapped up in forcing something to happen that you end up stubbing your own toe. Right?
Whoa!
We saw a game earlier this week.
Close.
Where
Stay close. Whoa.
There was some discussion or some concern that the other team might just try and take a single in an open house, as opposed to throw through for the blank. They opted for the blank. I believe that was New Brunswick.
Play the freeze. If you come up, you chip that. It's fine.
It's an interesting paradigm because playing without hammer is a power position. You start the end with control, so it's generally more comfortable to play that way. So if you feel like you're throwing really well, there are teams that just will give away hammer to make the other team play the harder position. It's not something you see on TV a whole lot because they're all on parity and experience, but at this, call it semi-pro level, it's not an uncommon thing.
They didn't lay a lick to that until it got. Yeah, I think I heard a player say it did pick something, but it was a fortunate pick, whatever it was.
It picked up a lot of curl just outside the hog line. Some people might say that's a handprint or whatever. Point being, it picked a new path.
Yeah, picked a good spot.
But again, this is exactly what red was after. They didn't actually care if they were shot. They cared about cluttering the 4 foot and making it a plus or minus 1. So if they weld one on here, they're in a great position.
Colleen Pinckney looking to
Room.
come down to that stone that was just thrown by Prince Edward Island.
Yep, hard. Gotta be here. Gotta be here.
Corner freezing the top blue would not be horrible. It's looking really good if they get by.
That blue. If you can't, get it by the blue.
All right, that's acceptable. You'll be able to use that rock later. And yes, blue is starting to question the outcome. Nose hitting it would actually be not horrible because it should actually bounce off the edge of the blue one. Maybe a little bit outside of nose. Call it 7/8. Then your shooter's going to stay in a good position, and you might even get the other red one to bounce out a little bit. Not sure you want to, because then that gives them something to slash, but
move them all around, those top 8-foot rocks.
The angles aren't in your favor right now. Red's pretty happy with where everything is, so just move them around.
Melissa Morrow.
Miranda! Hard, Miranda!
So she's looking at about a quarter rock, which is going to lose your shooter, going to leave the red one.
So Melissa shake her head as she got up on that.
Oh. So she has a little bit of an inside out on that release, which is pushing it through the curl.
Yeah.
In addition to being in kind of that 9.5 range.
I like to get it to there.
So that's an unfortunate turn of events.
I had you there and you hit it pretty good. I go there with the tap.
So they're looking here, Gordon. Is Craig looking to tap that?
I suspect he's probably trying to look something around here. If you get a rock in that spot,
anyway,
I'm not even sure how blue is going to score more than their one, and you're going to leave yourself this kind of a shot
just
on your last
tap on that blue.
I think
or on the red.
So he is playing the tap actually.
So he's trying to push this run back here, which is also fine. You run a little bit of if you get kind of an angle like this, then everything will spin out this way, and you'll have two rocks sitting kind of staggered here and here, which also would leave you fairly well off. So that's fine as well.
Just don't want to move things too open.
Well, especially when that's the shot that blue was trying to basically do. You don't want to do it for them.
Yep.
Personally, I would have just kind of closed off the outer edge of the forefoot and left myself choices.
Hard! Yep, hard!
This is curling a lot.
I think they're on the top one.
I believe so. That's not... that's acceptable. You've further cut off the Mary's popcorn side of the sheet.
Normal this time.
So now he's looking at having to throw weight down the middle and, again, hoping he can get the blues to rearrange enough for his last shot.
Yeah. This way. Do that. It's going to kick
if
on
he
there.
actually gets just a little bit on the center line side, he may clip that back blue
I don't
one,
think we ever touch ours.
which isn't horrible either, because
we jam on
if this comes back and pushes this blue sitting back here and spins out, and you'll have a blue one here, red now only has one very lonely rock, which could very easily be pushed that way out of the house.
Cross nose a little bit.
So if he does this correctly, he could be sitting basically 3 blues to 1 red. Hard shot.
Is there danger to that at all, Gordon?
Cross noses.
I don't see a lot of danger, because worst case scenario, you cross over the red one and you get what you were after on the last one, which is just rearranging things. You pop that one red one out the side.
Yeah. Hard, Miranda, hard. Really hard, really hard.
Tight out of Jamie's hand.
He went over the top on it, so he's going to generate a lot of curl on this.
Might clip the red guard.
Jeez. Come on.
Ooh.
So if you watched his hand, he had actually gone past 12 on his release, but you're now into a position of generating curl immediately, which is not what you typically want. You want it to travel straight for a while and then curl. So I can't say as it's hurting him any. He's opened up that side so that right now he could technically draw the edge of the forefoot for 2. There is enough curl there. So by removing that guard, he's still giving himself options.
Just warm that up a bit there.
So he's looking at trying to come down off of this one and bang that out the side. So then red would be sitting 3. And blue would basically have a short tap. It is pretty much where you'd end up at. Or possibly draw the edge of the forefoot to just give up 1 sort of a scenario. This could be a very
Get the hair more ice.
Very nice outcome if he gets, call it 7/8 with about normal.
Craig Burgess throwing peel weight.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Nothing to it yet.
Whoa.
It's close.
Whoa. Close. Hard. Hard.
Close. Good attempt.
There's not enough weight for it. He did get shot. Well, maybe.
I think it's still blue.
I think blue is still shot rock, so he actually still has that short tap on his blue one.
But you're
Just
right.
throw a draw, basically.
Yeah, the angles were great. He hit it where he wanted to, but
Those are
I
crossing
don't know how much harder you can throw that.
We're shot,
Take a
right?
lot
Yeah.
to
Yeah, that's
knock that out.
needed the Newsom backswing to get enough weight on that one. So there's not a lot of ways that blue can get their second one in there.
So Jamie Newsom and Prince Edward Island calling the first timeout of this game. They get 2 90-second timeouts. Time for both teams is they've got plenty at this point.
Cross face and go onto this. Yeah. So
Conceptually, you could come in this way with perfect draw weight, but that's asking a lot out of that one. You almost need that hog line pick to get that kind of travel. So realistically speaking, he's going to want to come just a bit across the top of that front blue one and push it straight back. So for all intent and purposes, you're throwing a back 4-foot draw, and there's a blue one in the way.
Yeah, just hack. We got a pocket to go.
So he's calling hack. So that's fine too, as long as you're getting the path, because you can see the whole thing. As long as you're pushing it straight back, something's going to catch it, and you should get 2. As long as hitting your own doesn't push it out, which it shouldn't. Seems pretty frozen. I'm a bit shocked to hear hack weight on it, but if that's what he's comfortable with, it's fine.
Jamie Newsom's final stone of the 6th end.
Yep, Andrew.
Already sitting 1, trying to get 2 and tie this game up with Nova Scotia.
Yes, Andrew! Hard, Andrew! Hard! Hurry!
By the guards.
It's going to be a piece of paper if they get by it.
Nope. Not quite.
They just stopped sweeping for a little bit in the middle, not trusting the curl there.
So it will be just 1 for Prince Edward Island. And it's a 5-4 lead for Nova Scotia as we get set to play the 7th end. We have a tie game on the sheet beside us, although that's probably going to break here in any second, but it's a 4-4 tie with Yukon and Alberta. These are all seeding pool games. These 6 teams that are out here did not qualify for the championship pool, but they're still playing down for to determine seeding positions for next year's event, and of course to finish off their record here in Canmore. On sheet C, Newfoundland and Labrador and Nunavut. Nunavut's come back with a 2 score, so it's just a 2-point game right now, and it looks like Newfoundland will have a pretty open hit to score 3 more, so see what happens there. But in our feature game, as mentioned, it's a 5-4 advantage for Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia with hammer. A lot of fans out here for the morning game in the Canmore Golf and Curling Club, including some from Prince Edward Island.
It's nice to see someone come all the way across the country to support each other.
Prince Edward Island with their 1-5 record, looking to get their 2nd win of the tournament.
Never. A little bit, yeah.
So it was a 3 for Newfoundland and Labrador, so they've improved their score to 9-4, leading Nunavut in starting the 7th. Miranda Ellis from Prince Edward Island putting up the center guard to start us off in the 7th.
And it's a nice center guard. It's tight enough that you can't play a hit around it. It's near the center line. Well done.
Yep.
Nova Scotia is electing to keep doing the go around their guard tactic.
Yep.
They have a lead, so they're comfortable with that choice.
Yep, hurt. Okay, well, just a biter.
It's a nice control rock that may be useful for them later. It's not a long push to get it into the 4-foot. Blue could do the double guard here if they wished. 7th end, you may choose now to be the time to to try to force a steal.
Melissa.
This is the fourth year of this team from Prince Edward Island playing together.
Okay, just get it over and drop it. Over and leave it.
Like you see with the pros,
we're losing line
you need to play together for a few years to truly meld and get your success.
And their success started early. This is actually the third time they've won.
That's fine. That works.
In those 4 years.
Excellent. So that was a cute guard. They got their double guard, and they've kind of gotten in the way of that red one a little bit. So they have set themselves up for a decent chance at a steal. Now it's going to be who can own the forefoot.
Yep. Yep.
It would suggest that the ice is tightening up a little bit, because where we were in the fifth end of everything being a little deep, these ones all seem to be coming up a little shy.
I saw that in last night's game. I went to an extra end, so they were the only sheet out there, and a number, the crowd had dispersed a bit as well, and in the ninth and that extra end, it's the ice really tightened up on the two teams.
And you've gotten so much play having gone down that center line end after end. So you start having to worry about the pebble factor.
I feel like this side of the sheet we haven't used as much, at least going away from our glass here.
Top four.
So if blue can get this one into the top forefoot, they're going to be in control and have a good situation going. They need to basically be back-to-back steals or force one and take two. They'll be good with either choice. This one is deciding not to curl.
I got it. Come on.
There it goes.
Newson and Morrow on the sweep at the end. Get a little bit of it behind cover.
You almost would have liked it to have been fully under the red in the top 12, because they can't get to the nose of that one. They can create an angle, though. Red's just going to try to get rid of that one. Make blue do it again. Keeping your shooter is not necessary. You can if you wish. So now they can freeze, they can push this to the back of the forefoot, they can actually create opportunity off of that red one, despite it actually being in the top of the forefoot right now.
You're normal.
Where? Okay. Well, yeah, Melissa's rock, go! Hard line! Gotta go line, hard! Gotta go, yes!
Morrow saying that the weight's also coming off this as it comes down.
Come on, you got a good one, come on! Hard, girls, hard, 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 hard. Just keep that angle. Come on, go, 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 go. Okay, that's fine. Good sweep.
That's in the spot that you wanted to see the...
I really like it there, because the red in the top 12 foot is hard for Nova Scotia to actually use. You know, anything on this side, if you set up some kind of a double or anything, that's going to be a very nice rock to have that red can't deal with.
Talk about the degrees of separation in curling. When you go coast to coast, there's a lot of people that are connected, but this Burgess rink from Nova Scotia, it actually was
Can I go here?
The Burgess connection. The last time Shelley McNutt curled in a provincial mixed championship was in 2007 with Peter Burgess, Craig and Todd's younger brother. They won the Canadian bronze medal that year here in Alberta. 14 years later, they teamed up with, as they say, more Burgesses to get here, and here they are at the mixed. And then even more so, Judy, who is Todd and Craig and Peter Burgess's mother, that was who Colleen Pinckney used to curl with in 1988 when she went to her first Scotties. So they have quite the family history on this team between these four players.
Far as you can take it.
So
Far as
red
you can drag
went
it.
deep on theirs, which has
Come on, guys,
not
far as you can take it. Come on.
improved the situation for themselves. So if blue can get this one corner frozen on the red one, they definitely are going to put themselves in an opportunity for multiple. Unfortunately, a little late. So now red has a choice to make.
Tap it to here,
They are
right?
shot. Do you just clutter it up and make blue chase you for the last 8 rocks of the end? Or do you try to, move things around again? Because that blue one is going to hurt you eventually. So it looks like they're going to try to move that red one to hopefully address that blue one.
Board
Good
plus,
shot there, some of
probably.
the young fans.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Left side of the sheet, at least for this end, for Colleen
Yes.
Pinckney.
Hard. Hard. Hard.
Looks like a good shot. It's close to the front, but it needed to. Oh, just got a piece of
clipped
it.
Did it line something up, though?
Well, by blue being short, red had a free rock to do whatever, which is now exposed that blue one. Because that's not a long run back. Now that that's cleaned up a bit.
Right in the nose.
So blue is afraid of that. But yes, you're absolutely correct. That red-blue pair is aimed right at that one in the top of the 4-foot.
Normal.
So you're going to be sitting 2 under a guard on both sides.
Melissa Morrow asked to run this back into shot rock.
The temptation is to do this with a lot of weight,
Miranda, hard,
but it's hard to control where the shooter is going to go.
Good.
Does a good job.
That was
of
an
it, though.
excellent
Wow.
shot. So now she staggered the front ones. You can't quite see it on the screen. You can kind of get it. She staggered the front ones. So now that blue is protected under basically staggered guards. The left blue is protected under
Throw control.
3 staggered guards.
There.
Red's only choice
Normal's
now
not
is
bad.
to try to use their front red one and try to A,
Normal
take
into
out
there.
a blue, and B, open that side up to do something later.
It was a great shot by Melissa Morrow. It really just gives Nova Scotia one chance at it here. Colleen Pinckney with a key shot of the 7th end.
So she's picked her weight up a little bit from the first one.
Whoa.
She's got 2 blues she can hit it at, which is a nice
Yes. Yes.
Looks
Yes.
Oh, she hit them both.
Gets
Great
them both.
shot.
Excellent
to sit
shot.
2. Wow.
Behind the tee line, which was an unfortunate little spin down, and there's enough curl there to freeze to it. But that was a fantastic recovery.
That's why she's a Canadian All-Star. Colleen Pinckney with a beautiful shot.
The same path I threw 2 ends ago.
The thirds this end are earning their money. Wow.
So yeah, you weld the blue right on top of that red one.
We know we
and
can get there.
Their only recovery is
Same
going to
path
be to
through 2
freeze
ends
it
ago,
back. And you know what? If they give up a steal of 1 here, they're not going to lose a lot of sleep
10,
on
15?
it. They'll be tied coming home with.
Or in the button. Lock it on.
So he's thrown this particular draw 3 times in a row now, going away from the glass, playing on the Mary's Popcorn half of the sheet. So he should have a decent idea of the path it's going to follow.
Really? You sure? I don't think so. It's going to curl, guys.
He's sitting out in that straight path. More than anything, the weight looks a little strong.
Sweepers are passengers on this one. Trying to curl it in, but
2 feet heavy, I would say. You know, actually, you could have been even 6 feet lighter than that because they could have swept it into the top of the 4-foot and you still would have been fairly well off.
There for tap.
That's where I was saying earlier, we call that kind of the kiss of death because you've now put yourself into a very
But I don't mind.
tough area. There's no backing any longer. The hit and flop
Right there is
over
good.
onto their own red one is a good outcome. Like there's it's very uncomfortable for blue at the moment. They are fully under the guard though, so this has to be a draw weight style shot, so that's good.
Just tap that back 8.
Blue will have that same draw to the forefoot no matter what.
Craig Burgess' first rock of this 7th end. Facing one counter from Prince Edward Island.
Whoa!
If he's got the right weight, the line is correct.
McNutt on the brush. That doesn't get enough of it,
Nope,
so it's
not quite.
still Prince Edward Island sitting one.
3 or 4 feet off.
So that looked like he was just through the house weight and just enough too much, because you really needed at least get to the nose.
What was the time on that?
I think you heard Craig say 3 feet, probably too much weight on his.
And that results in probably 3 inches difference on where you make contact with your target rock.
That's the same spot.
So we have another attempt at the...
So I think I take 4 feet
draw
off,
the
it's gonna
pin,
look good there.
freeze to the back ones.
Top button.
If he's able to get it just high of the tee line, then he's got a great chance to steal one.
It's less. Where? No, I don't think so.
So they're currently saying back
Andrew's
8.
in. It's gonna curl, guys, and die. Oh, seriously? It's coming down, guys. Yes!
Oh, that picked up some serious curl.
Right behind it, and it just warped over.
All right, guys. Come on.
And now it's going to lose all the weight because it's curling so hard.
Come on.
Oops. Don't know if they got a second shot. Either way, it's still, I won't say wide open, but on this ice, it's open.
It would seem like you could tap that back blue one a foot for 2. Again, this is where you throw it for top button and let the sweepers decide. It becomes the team shot for the bump.
Craig acknowledging, or at least, and good heads up to give his front end that he believes that last stone by Prince Edward Island picked, so not to read too much into what happened on it.
Yes, he had a good opportunity going. It seemed possibly a little warm, but then yes, it took a hard right turn and stopped.
So a chance here for 1, maybe 2 for Craig Burgess and his rink from Truro.
Whoa!
Got to find the button first.
Whoa! Whoa!
It's hanging a bit.
This is the spot. Pinckney saying line is perfect, but how's the weight? It looks a bit spicy.
It's tough.
Did they move the red though?
Well,
wow, that's
it's plus or minus 1.
Yeah. I would think that back one is out of question. The back blue. I think it's moved far enough, but what counts otherwise?
I would agree with you. That back blue one should be out.
I think we're probably looking at... Oh, we didn't even look at the top one, I guess.
Oh, all right.
Okay. No, I'm going to wager on red for that. If that's... I thought the top blue was maybe a factor in that, but... I don't know if either of the players even looked at that top one.
So here's an interesting scenario. If you're Nova Scotia, do you actually want to be the scoring rock here? This gets to our point before. Are you more comfortable being tied with hammer or up to without? It's a very interesting scenario. So, tied with hammer is a great place to be, but stealing is always quite viable. So I would personally go for rather being up to.
Oh, that's red by, I think it went around a few times. And I should caution, I don't know if they already looked at that first one as a counter. We'll find out
That's
here.
fair.
But the stick was moved on that one for sure. So it was red in that measurement. Was it 1 or 2? Didn't hear from the players.
One red is what they've put up on the board.
So it is 1 red. So 6-4 Nova Scotia leads as we get set to play this 8th end. And Gordon, as I look back, there's been some key shots in this game. I think one of the big ones was Craig Burgess playing that fifth end. He had a chance for three, and he pulled it off. He had some earlier chances in the game to put up multiples, but it was a very cluttered 4-foot, lots of rocks behind T-line. It was looking pretty scary for Prince Edward Island to give up even more than three. Made basically a nose hit on the rock that was in the button to score three, and I think that was, at least to this point, the difference in the score. But there was also some missed opportunities actually from both teams early in the game. The second end, notably, big momentum shifts throughout, and it ended up as a steal of 2 for Prince Edward Island. But we're coming down to the 8th end, where it's just a 2-point advantage for Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island has hammer, so they definitely have a chance to get their deuce and stay in this to force an extra.
Blue is shooting first, so I'm going to say you are correct in that the front one actually counted.
Oh, so we have the score on the...
I'm assuming it's 5-5.
Okay. All right, the score on the board is rare.
But as I was saying earlier, I don't actually think Nova Scotia was overly concerned either direction. Tied with hammer, not a bad place to be as long as you can keep the house a little bit cleaner. So it's Blue's prerogative to get rocks in play and make a bit of a mess.
Just wait to get that score updated. But yes, it was a single for Prince Edward Island, so that one at the top of the 4-foot was the counter.
I'm a little bit surprised that they chose to attack the 4-foot right here. Given that it's tied and you just need to score a point, I don't think I would have made the center of the sheet busier. I probably would have thrown something out to the wing, a corner guard if you were really nervous, but something knocked down the middle.
Andrews all day. Andrews rock all day. Hard. Hard for line.
So now Blue's going to try to make the double guard.
Foot short.
Take advantage of the 5-rock rule.
Hard. Gotta go for line. Hard. Okay, whoa. Just leave it. Whoa. Sit. Nice shot. There, girl. Shooting.
So Red has very clearly elected to just be first to 4-foot and then try to protect that for the win. It's a viable choice. So if she gets this one top 4-foot, it's good. The brewery side of the sheet's a bit cut off with that previous red one.
Don't ever let anyone say a lead doesn't matter, because this is where it really matters, especially with those center guards already. If Shelley can put this top 4, and she does.
It's a remarkable presser shot.
Yeah.
And they even managed to pull it under the red one a little bit farther to minimize the chance of a double there. A double at the least would send the blue one flying out the side of the house, and you'd be okay with that.
Great shot by McNutt. So it is a 5-5 tie.
If I'm Blue, I'm actually a little bit happy that they're playing down the middle, because even though you may not be shot, it is now a mixed doubles game and just rearranging rocks to see who can be the last one in.
Should be a fun 8th end by the looks of it, especially with the scoreboard being the way it is.
Well, still a lot.
Heavy is our nemesis this end if we're either team.
Well, no, I'd rather chip this a bit. But, yeah, we would have been back 8. So.
There you go, Peel. We're 1.
Okay, so we're going to take advantage of that little mistake to start cleaning up the front, which I totally agree with.
Yep.
There are 2 guards, though, so that still gives Blue opportunities.
Yep. Hard.
Burgess hasn't been asked to make a lot of peels this game. Noses that one.
So not only that, he's then further
6 feet left.
Cut off the brewery side of the sheet, because now that red one you can't push up either. So if Blue gets this one into the button area, it's gonna be interesting. Corner freezing that red in the top of the 4-foot would also give you a lot of opportunity. So
we have our first final from this morning draw, the seeded pool game, and that is Newfoundland and Labrador winning 9-5 over Nunavut. And on sheet B right now, it's a 5-5 tie between Alberta and the Yukon. They're playing the 8th end. You can get the scores and standings and see all the pools at curling.ca/scoreboard.
Ooh, we have another one just a little heavy. Again, top 8 would have been an acceptable spot for that rock, because then you have angles that you can use to your advantage. Now you've grouped your rocks and they're behind T-line. So we're looking at a fairly straightforward double takeout here, and even better, you could roll your shooter completely out. There's no need for this rock to be behind the T-line.
Yep! Yep! Hard! 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 Keep
Shelley
going,
McNutt trying to get by
hard!
that guard. Oh, just clips it.
You're not going to mind cleaning out the middle. You probably would have been a little happier if you'd have stopped sooner and just completely removed the center guard.
A little tighter than half.
It's one of those, you just have to accept that you're probably not making the shot that was called and go for plan B.
Yeah, that other side of the sheet is lost of with rocks. It's a granite pile.
Yeah, there's not a lot of opportunity over there right now.
For either team, no. So if Melissa Morrow can make a good one here, putting heaps of pressure on Nova Scotia in this 8th end.
Well,
there's all kinds of places you can put it. You can corner freeze the red one in the 4-foot. You can throw a center line guard. You basically have anything in the way of your own rocks.
Over and leave it. Well, drop it. Well, little bit.
Ooh.
Did they get it enough?
You can come in with the intern this time. I would say that could have afforded to be about 6 feet deeper and a few inches farther. I personally would have rather have shown the outside of my rocks than the inside. Because if you show the outsides, they hit it and roll away, and you still have your draw to recover.
Yeah. If we touch that, that's fine.
Pinckney being asked to throw the clockwise her intern.
Yes.
This will be a weight shot, judging by the 4 inches of ice he's given her.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yes. Whoa.
Looks pretty good. Gord, I think they're by.
On off.
Oh, that picked. That was by.
That was absolutely by.
Yeah, that was probably the worst pick we've seen in this game. Went sideways at the hog line.
4 inches in front of the rock and decided to go to the left.
Yeah, I was watching the rocks in the house to see how she was. Yeah, you can see she's. Yeah, kind of disbelief on her face there. I agree.
If you're looking for the positives in it, that red rock ended up in a spot where you could play an in-off, or you only need to move one blue to still win the game. So you've got some potential out of that rock. You've cleaned up the middle a little bit, so it's not all a loss. Unfortunate, though. It looked like a great shot.
Picks are a part of the game, unfortunately, but that one came at an inopportune time, to say the least, for Nova Scotia.
Andrews all day. Andrews rock all day.
So this one's hanging out a little bit.
Yeah.
The Morrow's rocks have been late to curl because she has a bit of an in-out
really
release.
hard to get it over.
So they're really fighting the curl with
all
hers.
the way.
Now they're just trying to move rocks around and hope.
Do anything. Okay.
So another chance for Pinckney.
Attempt 3 at the double.
You want to throw the out turn?
I personally wouldn't.
Wouldn't?
They just threw the intern.
Okay.
They had exactly what they were after. It was a pick that caused them to miss the shot. So I personally wouldn't mind. Plus, the out turn is going to roll flat and over into the left side somewhat, or to the intern, sorry, is going to roll flat over to the side. You just threw it and you did it well.
You see the Burgess brothers cleaning the area where it did pick. I think Craig found something there.
Do you want that intern again?
Yeah, I think Colleen wants to play it again.
It's a comfort thing. Either one is makeable, but it's going to look cleaner too because that long blue guard.
She needs to know she had the shot made if she throws it the same.
Even if she just picks out the higher of the two blues, that's still acceptable. You're now short rock.
Yep.
She gets one, moves the other back to the back of the 8-foot.
That's a perfectly acceptable outcome.
That's fine too, a
even
little
if
bit.
blue plays this top red one, which they
I can do
have
solid
to,
control, 'cause the way it's
you're going to have
busted right now.
opportunities to score. Ideally, you would like them both gone, but they still would have been playing this hit no matter what.
Reminder, we'll be back later today at 2 p.m. Mountain Time for our next game. It is a championship pool game. It's the Northwest Territories 5-1 versus Saskatchewan 4-2.
Hit us for shot.
Oh, familiar face, Jamie Cooey on the sheet.
Just because of the way it's busted there.
I believe Carrie is also in town now, cheering on her twin brother.
The whole family has spent a significant amount of time in Calgary, so
yeah.
I've played them myself a few times. Always good opponents.
Jamie Newson here, trying to get rid of that red counter.
Got Andrew. Hard, Andrew. Hard, Andrew. Hard, Andrew! Hurry! Whoa, whoa, Miranda!
Here's the late break.
Roll it, roll
late
it.
break.
Good.
Gets the roll behind just a little bit.
So now red has a couple of choices. They can, yeah, you could play this little
9-5 there.
Call it chip shot off the side. You could actually also hit this back blue one, because then blue might go after it, and then you'd have a simple hit back again. So there's temptation to hit the back one. You wouldn't be shot rock.
9-5.
But you've given yourself opportunities. They can see about
but I'm running
3/4 of this one. So it's acceptable to hit it and just kind of roll over towards the Mary side. Hopefully stay shot rock. Make red go, or sorry, make blue go after you.
Yep. Yep.
Flirt with the guards already.
Yep. Whoa. 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 Yes. Yes. Roll. Yes. Hard.
Excellent shot.
Gets a roll.
I think
Puts the pressure back on Prince Edward Island.
Well, no, we got to cross it a bit. Sliver, yeah. Same way. Well, even if we overcurl too, we roll into
now,
this, right?
do you prefer to roll left or do you prefer to roll right?
And if you hit, if you jam it, Gord, would you?
Yeah, I like to roll.
You run the risk of
we have to. Yeah.
Nova Scotia being shot after you finish.
Personally, if it was me, I would be aiming to get my rock here.
Just cross.
And I don't care about the jam.
Left over two.
Because you're going to be under 3 guards, so they're not going to have a clean hit at you, and you will be shot. Even if the red one comes back here, it's going to be sitting kind of like this. But your shooter will roll and be shot.
So roll more than anything is focus on your rock where it ends up.
So they're looking to do the opposite. They want to roll across it to miss the back one. But then you're going to leave a wide open hit on the back one, a full draw to the 4-foot. You're not actually making a large level of pressure. So I'd be going for the roll under the guard.
Prince Edward Island's Jamie Newson.
Whoa, whoa, Andrew, Andrew! Andrew, Andrew! Hard, Andrew, hard!
Oh, and he gets the jam.
That's unfortunate.
And that will be the game.
Good luck in your net.
So Nova Scotia will improve to 3-4 with a steal there.
Thanks, Andrew.
Not a steal, rather. Picking up the point in the 8th end, and the team from Prince Edward Island will drop their 6th loss of the event to go to 1-6.
Oh, that was it.
For Darren McEwen, for Gord Coppathorne and Darren McEwen, thanks you so much for joining us today from the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championships. As mentioned, we'll be back this afternoon with a great game, 2 p.m. Mountain, Northwest Territories taking on Saskatchewan.